On today's episode of the Views from Section 400 podcast, a lot of football. The Giants lost again. Matt's Eagles won ugly again. And Jack's Jaguars, huge performance, killed the Chargers. Talk about it all. Shadeur Sanders played a football game. Didn't look great, but he might get to start next week again. A lot to talk about. Also, we hate the Bears. Or at least I hate the Bears. A rant coming soon. Stay tuned. See you guys soon.
And just like that, we're back.
A16, turn me up.
Welcome into episode 223 of the Views from Section 400 podcast. Today's November 18th, 2025. And yes, the Eagles and the Jaguars won. Yes, the Giants lost. We're going to get into all of that. But I have to say something. We posted a clip last Thursday, talking about the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions and how Dan Campbell deserved more credit for the play calling. We had 15 comments from Bears fans talking about Ben Johnson. You would have thought we called their mother a whore. That's how bad these comments were from these Bears fans. And the clip was praising the Detroit Lions. And this wasn't a first-time offense either. A couple weeks ago, we posted something about Caleb Williams, and now he's looked good, but his pocket presence needs to get better. And we had like 6 Bears fans commenting in our mentions. I kind of let it go. I'm like, oh, it's a one-off. Maybe we were a little too harsh on Caleb. This happens again. Bears fans, like you're 7-3. Why are you obsessed over something a Giants fan has to say about Dan Campbell? You can enjoy your football season. Not everything said is about you. I saw another tweet on Twitter from a Chargers fan, and we'll get into the Chargers-Jag game. He called the Chargers the worst 7-3 team in football, but he said this is the worst 7-3 team in football I've ever seen. Bunch of Bears fans in the comments defending the Bears, not realizing the accounts from a guy McConkey to Herbert or whatever the fuck his name was. Clearly a Chargers fan, and you're seeing a bunch of Bears fans defend their team. I never knew this fan base was so soft, and I always liked Chicago. I liked the Bears. I liked Caleb Williams. They're an underdog story. I'm on this podcast on record saying I want Caleb Williams to be good because we need better quarterback play in the NFL. But nope, they just want to get upset over something about Dan Campbell. Dan Campbell has nothing to do with your football team other than the Lions are better than your football team, and that was proven. So Bears fans, one finger salute.
Bravo. Well said.
Am I wrong here? Like, it was ridiculous. Matt, you were beefing with a Bears fan.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lot of sensitivity out there. Look, this is their first taste of being somewhat relevant, I think it's fair to say, the National Football League since the double doink. Is that even fair to say? So they were honestly they were
the Nickelodeon VP award.
Yeah, that's when Mitch Trubisky won the MVP. But I mean, dude,
either way,
they were barely relevant then. Like, yeah, right. they were good, but they weren't that good. I mean, I would say that this is probably the best team they've had since the early 2000s.
Peanut Tillman and when they Brian Urlacher, was that 2006?
Yeah, when they went to the Super Bowl against the Colts. But it's their first time tasting success. It's been kind of a full-blown generation of different fans getting integrated in, and they're defensive. So whatever, I'll let them get jacked up about it. But it's they haven't done shit.
And it all starts at the top. Caleb Williams, the leader, the quarterback of this team. He is the Karl Anthony Towns of the NFL. He's the zesty one, and the zesty fans are going to follow. And I think that's what you're dealing with, Brian.
Dude, I was so mad when they won. When they beat the Vikings on that field goal too. I was praying on their downfall. I don't think I've prayed on a team's downfall. I might have been rooting more against the Bears this weekend than I was rooting against the Eagles in the Super Bowl last year. That's how much I wanted the Bears to lose.
You're getting ahead of yourself, Ryan.
Hey, I'll take it. But this is probably just a stretch because it's easy to pick out Caleb Williams. But, the city of Chicago is starting to strike me as just, a zesty town where the zesty players go to play, dude. You got to think about it. Caleb Williams on the Bears. Does Pete Crow Armstrong on the Cubs fall under that category?
Blue hair. I think you gotta count him.
Josh Giddey, is he involved on the Bulls?
Yeah.
So there's things there. I can't think of anybody on the White Sox, and there's probably another one you could pluck off the Bills. Or Bulls, excuse me, I can't think of, but might just be what Chicago is now.
You could probably throw Garrett Crochet into that before, of course, he got traded, but
Kobe White. I think you could throw Kobe White in that conversation.
Yeah, I think that's a fair assessment. So, zesty fan base, defensive fan base, zesty athletes that go to play in Chicago. It's woke Chicago is what you can call it.
The zesty city.
That's what it is. The windy city or the zesty city?
Oh, I can't wait for so many hate comments again when this inevitably gets clipped.
That's getting clipped.
Not scared. Not
all right. Well, do we want to talk any actual Bears Vikings or just get right into the Jaguars game here?
Look, I was disappointed. I'll just say that by this game. I mean, divisional game. You would think that all of the, every player involved is on their P's and Q's, and they were, which was the reason why it was a low scoring, good defensive game. But I was really hoping to see some fireworks, between Caleb and JJ McCarthy, what they've been able to do this season. I thought we were going to see way more points than 19-17.
Sort of the guy that thought it was a good idea to start JJ McCarthy in fantasy football.
Don't worry, I did it too.
It's probably a bad time to say this because the guy on the other end who they let walk last year had 4 interceptions over the weekend. But the eye test to me last offseason, and I did say it, so it's not like, hey, it's easy to say now. I would have given the extension to Sam Darnold. I would have ran it back with Sam Darnold after a 13-14 win season. The eye test for me at JJ McCarthy was he just never was that guy. And I know you pull, well, he had this go wrong, he had that go wrong. But from day one, we're talking Kevin O'Connell or whatever the guy's name is this quarterback whisperer. He fixes everybody, the quarterback doctor. I think he's having a tough time being just that with J.J. McCarthy and, Hawkinson, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison. There's pieces there. Aaron Jones out of the backfield, a very good pass-catching back, as we all know. So, he's struggling a little bit with trying to be the quarterback doctor.
Yeah, to the Bears' credit, they're such a weird defense because they give up so many yards, but I think they lead the league in interceptions. So a bad matchup for McCarthy there, who struggles with interceptions. But then he goes ahead and makes that throw to Jordan Addison that should have honestly won him the game. I don't know. I think the one issue with him, the biggest glaring issue, is Justin Jefferson might just hate him. And you can't have your star hate your quarterback.
No, you can't. Brian, one question. Are you in or out on J.J. McCarthy?
I've been out on him since I was about to jump off a bridge if the Giants drafted him over Malik Neighbors.
Wow. Jack, I know you're a big McCarthy guy.
I'm in for now. I mean, to your point, if they thought that McCarthy wasn't going to be their guy, I don't think they would have drafted him in the first round. I don't think they would have sent Sam Darnold away. They would have re-signed him. But Kevin O'Connell picked him. The brass picked him. That's their quarterback of the future. It's easy to say, keep Sam Darnold for now, but then you keep J.J. McCarthy, the guy you just spent a first-round pick on last year, on the bench for the next 4 years.
Well,
I don't think that's working out for you either.
You drafted him, and then you didn't know Darnold was going to do what he did, right?
Definitely.
So you kind of just got screwed there on both, as the Vikings, because you were like, all right, we'll draft a quarterback, we'll sign Darnold as the veteran, maybe backup, whatever. McCarthy out for the year. Darnold comes in, plays borderline MVP caliber through at least 8 weeks, and then, more than serviceable to get them to that 13, 14, whatever win mark. I think they won 14 games and got the wild card because the Lions won 15 is how that played out. But it was kind of like, holy shit, Darnold did turn into this all-world lights on fire. Guy airs the ball out, and he has the receivers to do it. And now it's like, well, what do we do? They didn't want to pay him. They used that money to go out and get other pieces. However they spent it. They rolled it back with J.J. McCarthy. Probably, maybe even O'Connell puffed his chest a little bit and was like, I am the QB doctor. look what I just did with Darnold. I can figure this out. I can get this guy to play at a high level on a rookie deal. We can repeat what we did, spend the resources elsewhere, and they're the bottom of the division. So that plan kind of blew up in their face.
To be fair, it's a very competitive division, and they do have a winning record. But yeah, I hear
The
you.
Vikings do,
don't they? Aren't
They're
they
5-6 now? They would have
they're
been
like
5-5.
4-7.
I thought they were
If they won
5-5
this
now.
They were 4-5, and then they blew it at the end here.
I thought it was worse.
4-6. Okay.
This is also like it's important to remember. It's still essentially his rookie season. Him as in McCarthy, and he's really only played 6 NFL games.
Yeah,
He
he's missed
so
a
much
ton
time.
of time this year too.
But like, I don't know. With a team expected to compete, like Matt, you just said they won a shit ton of games last year. So if the plan was McCarthy, he's got to show up at some point. And right now, you're kind of at the point where you're going to not be a playoff team if you lose another game.
Which they're going to lose another game.
Yeah. So they're probably not a playoff team.
No.
And then, yeah, it just – there were a lot of throws he made in that game that I think if Justin Jefferson didn't have that viral clip yelling at Kirk Cousins when he missed him in the end zone and basically said, "Come on, Kirk," I think we would have heard a lot of hot mics from Justin Jefferson. McCarthy was missing him a lot. And Hawkinson, too. He missed Aaron Jones for a touchdown. These are just throws that have to be made, especially against the Bears. God, the Bears.
I got nothing else on that.
Yeah, well, McCarthy played a terrible game. Like you said, Darnold played a terrible game, but the worst game played by a quarterback on Sunday may have been Justin Herbert against the Jacksonville Jaguars. The best D-line in football looked like the best D-line in football on Sunday.
Yeah, it was about damn time. Like, hello to the pass rush. Hello, Bashal Tootin. That was a fun game to watch, for sure.
Is Bashal Tootin the guy now?
No, he's not the guy. He's not the one. ETN is still the guy, but Bashal Tootin, this was his hello party, his welcome party, and he made the biggest play of the game. There was like 6 minutes left in the first half, 3rd and 1. Trevor misses a throw, wide open tight end. Wide open tight end. He was under pressure. He was on the run, rolling out, missed them. It would have been at least a 30-yard completion, but immediately Coach Cohen's "we're going," dials up the play, tosses it right, and Tootin gets a one-on-one with the linebacker and completely runs him over for 4 yards. Like, it wasn't even close. And that was the play of the game. We end up finishing that drive, capping it off with an ETN touchdown. Yes, he's still relevant. And 14-6, we never looked back after that. The defense was playing great. They were hitting hard. Some of the hits in that game were some of the hardest hits I've seen all season. And one of them was Justin Herbert getting clocked. There was the offensive lineman, the left tackle for the Chargers, was like 2-3 yards behind the line of scrimmage, behind the center, trying to pull like a Juwan Taylor. And he got flagged for it. They tried to blow the play dead. Our guy was in the backfield slamming Herbert down so fast. Most vicious hit I've seen all season. But it was beautiful. I love it.
Yeah, like you mentioned the left tackle, because I believe now the Chargers are 5-1 with Joe Alt in the lineup, and just they're 7-4 total, so they're 2-3 without him now. And it's amazing he makes that big of a difference. But Justin Herbert, it's weird because I was watching this game with our buddy Tom, and he's like, "Yeah, Herbert has wheels. He can run around, but he looked like Jared Goff against the Eagles. Like he couldn't move, and it's like you have legs." Run around, try to make something happen. But the Jaguars just game planned so well against them, and this game wasn't close.
No, it wasn't. It was awesome. I mean, the first half was, a little bit back and forth, just good drives by both teams for a little while. But then that second half, I mean, we just ran the ball. We ran the ball 42 times. That's a lot. You run the ball 42 times, you're dominating game script, keeping their defense on the field all day. And it was just a wonderful, wonderful game. The exact game you need to bounce back off of what happened in Houston last week.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Exactly what they needed after the debacle last week. And, a couple weeks, I know they got out of Dodge in that Raider game, but obviously very ugly. Followed it up with Texans. So, The biggest trap line on the slate yesterday. I mean, Chargers minus 159 coming across the country, 1:00 game. Jaguars off of just a must win to save the season. That was the make or break game of the week. I guess you could have called it. And I like Liam Cohen. I think he cares. Definitely a step above Doug Peterson for what we've seen thus far. My issue is never Liam Cohen. My issue has always been Trevor Lawrence. And as you just said it, they won the game huge because they ran the ball 42 times. You can find another quarterback to hand the ball off. So still not a Trevor guy. Think there's a lot of things he needs to do to even get me close to justifying all the money that they're tied up with him. But nice win, save the season, keeps them on track to keep those Indianapolis Colt games later in the season important.
Yeah, very important. Dude, the way that they've been playing, I don't know if we'll be able to catch them for the division, but we keep playing like this, we'll surely be a wild card team. I know we're already slated in there right now in that 7th spot with a matchup against the Patriots. So, no, I don't want to see the Patriots in the playoffs. They always find a way to screw us. Yes, Miles Jack still was not down. And, Brian, you look like you have something to say.
Well, I just the more we get deep into the season, you mentioned they're in the playoffs with a wild card spot. The team they're right directly ahead of, they have essentially a 2-game lead on because they beat them on Monday Night Football, the Kansas City Chiefs. It's kind of wild to think about that, but could come down to Jags and Chiefs, and that Trevor Lawrence slip touchdown could be the reason the Jaguars make the playoffs this season. It's kind of crazy.
That would be incredible.
There's still part of, and we'll get to Chiefs Broncos in a bit, but there's still part of me that thinks the Chiefs just have to get in. But 2 games with 6 left to play, that's a big hill to climb.
No doubt. Yeah, they're not in a great position. They would be in such a better position if they were able to win yesterday. But that's a tough divisional loss, and I didn't even really think about that. But if that Trevor Lawrence slip is the reason the Jags get in on a wild card spot over the Chiefs, that will be an all-time.
Yeah, and there's also the chance that the Chargers are a playoff team right now, and with how they looked on Sunday, you never really know.
Yeah.
But it's going to get interesting in the AFC.
Yeah, well, especially with the injuries. I mean, it's going to be tough for the Chargers to sustain that divisional, or I guess conference lead that they have right now.
Yeah, so Hampton is still hurt, obviously. Vidal got hurt in this game.
Yeah. I mean, he came back in and then came back out. It was he was getting banged up. But I told you, this was a very physical game by the Jaguars defense. They were hitting like crazy. And Vidal had 2 or 3 plays where he had to come out for a little while, just in the first half. And I don't even know how much he really even played at the second half.
Yeah, I think he had 20 rushing yards. So I can't imagine he played that much. But also the Chargers didn't do anything on offense. But it'll get interesting for them. A team that it probably won't get interesting for, and it's looking more and more like they're going to be the number 1 seed after we had the debate about them not being the number 1 seed. Matt's Philadelphia Eagles won ugly again on a windy, ugly night in Philadelphia.
Win's a win, my man. Win's a win. That was an old school NFC defensive battle we saw last night. Tough conditions, cold outside, just everything when you think of old school football weather, everything. That's what that game was last night. And it's the 2 top teams in the NFC going into the game. So you have good coaching staffs on both sides. You have good players on both sides. The game plan was well on both sides. And that's why you saw what you saw. And people call it ugly. I call it a good win. The defense showed up and the offense did what they had to do to score more points than the other team's offense. So there is the things to work on, of course. It's the NFL. It's football. We know it back from going to Pee Wee football. You never have a perfect game. And if you do, there's still something you can find to work on. So is there things to work on? Of course. But things I take away from that game is the addition of Jalen Phillips has the Eagles as the best defense in football right now. I don't know a defense that I would take over them the way they've played the last 2 weeks, stifling the Green Bay Packers on the road and then shutting down the high-powered 40-plus point down in D.C. Brian's calling Dan Campbell Coach of the Year, Offensive Coordinator of the Year for taking over the play calling. I'm curious to know if he still has that title for you, Brian, after a 6-point night in South Philadelphia.
Well, they hit on explosive plays. The issue was the Eagles. Like you said, Jalen Phillips was all over the place. Nakobe Dean looked like the best player in football in that game. He was everywhere, and they just didn't let Jared Goff do anything. Jared Goff can't really move, and for some reason, teams don't try to blitz him enough, and they were in the backfield every play. I think they had, 6, 7 batted down passes? That wasn't a pun.
Yeah, Jordan Davis obviously being 6'6", 6'8", however tall he is, really helps. Jalen Phillips, he's been on display, difference maker since he stepped off the plane here in Philadelphia. So a nice move there, and that other D lineman Moro Ojomo, third year out of Texas. I believe he was on that national title team, or did they go to the national title?
No, they lost to Washington.
So national semifinal team he was on, and just another guy that, diamond in the rough that Howie Roseman continues to pluck these guys, fill voids. And you have Brandon Graham being a super low tier, maybe 8 to 10 plays a game, but he's a good trash talker and a good vibes guy that has given them a little bit of lift in a room that there were serious question marks before the trade deadline off the edge and the D line. But Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, Ojomo, that rotation is deadly. Jalen Phillips off the edge. Nolan Smith does a lot of really nice things. And then Brandon Graham to, rush the passer 7 times a game. It's special to watch. You said it, Brian. We already know what Zach Bond is. He's an all-pro. Nakobe Dean hasn't missed a step after a really bad leg injury, so that's awesome to see. Quinyon Mitchell, talk about a guy who people just love to rag on and say about this and say about that. I won't mention any names, but if you're asking me, that guy looked like an all-pro last night, and he sure as hell played like one. And Adoree Jackson did some nice things too, which I love to see. So just all around, A+, A+, A+ by the defense. And the offense got it done for what they had to do, and that was put some kind of points on the board. Defense stole the show. That's 8-2, top of the NFC. We own the tiebreaker on the Rams, and we are not scared of anybody. It doesn't matter who you are. It doesn't matter what you do. If our offense is shaky or this or that, I like the Eagles' chances. I love the Eagles' chances against anybody. And it's not like baseball where you play a series. It's a one-game shootout, especially in the playoffs. And I like the Eagles' chances against anybody. They're not scared. They play up to their competition. And, I don't know how you don't say, and not saying you guys do or don't, maybe if you want to hate, but I don't know how you don't have this team as the repeat champion right now.
So
the big thing for me is definitely the tiebreakers and the fact that they might get home field advantage, number 1 overall seed, and get to play every game in the playoffs, coming through Philadelphia. That would be the difference maker for me. You said it, they have it over the Rams. They just took it over Detroit, this week. So those are the only 2 teams in my mind that can also be there. I really don't think Seattle will be there after the Rams dismantled them, and the NFC South is pretty freaking irrelevant. So yeah, I mean, it's the Lions, the Rams, the Eagles, and if those teams got to come through Philadelphia, I'm going to put my money on the Birds.
It's hard to say anyone's going to score enough points on that defense to win a game at the Link. And I think the big thing is it's at the Link, so the offense still, it looks weird. I don't know if it's Patullo, if it's A.J. Brown bitching, if it's Saquon's lost a step, if it's the offensive line injuries, but it looks disjointed. And Chris Collinsworth was on the broadcast. He probably said they have to run the ball with Jalen Hurts like 15 times on that broadcast because he was so sick of seeing the stale offense. But something just doesn't look right. But like you said, they're just winning games. So you can't even point at that and say that's why they're losing, because they continue to win and find ways to win. and Hurts
Right.
is making the throws when he has to, but something just doesn't look.
It doesn't
right.
look like, that was an all-world offense last year, and they don't have it doesn't. It looks a lot worse this year, so it does make it a little more like, whoa, they have the same pieces. All they did is plug Patullo, and why is it? Why are they not humming? So,
I think it
you
starts
go,
with
Jack.
the
There you
it
go.
starts. I think it starts with the run game, and obviously
The most
Saquon had
explosive plays last night were from Tank Bigsby,
well.
which is crazy.
He
I'm
did look
talking.
awesome.
I mean, I will say Saquon, is the run game. Shout out Tank, War Eagle. But
War Eagle.
Saquon is the run game. And you look at what he was able to do last year, what their offensive line was able to do in front of him last year. That is a huge difference compared to this year. And especially in this game that we just saw. Like, speaking of the stale offense, I mean, not that they needed to switch it up, but they were just spamming Saquon Barkley. He had a ton of carries in this one, wasn't really running all that efficient. 3.2 yards per carry, 26 touches, like that, not very efficient. But if that's all you need to do and play stellar defense to win a game against your NFC, the other top contender in the NFC, then that's what they'll do. And it doesn't have to look pretty. And I feel like that's kind of been the story all season is it's not looking pretty, but they're still getting it done.
Has been the story. And it felt like they were trying to force the ball to A.J. Brown a little bit early and often to kind of quiet down the media attention because it's what it is in the NFL is you got to find something to write a story on, especially the teams at the top of the league, right? Because that's what everybody cares about. So that's the story. A.J. Brown and the offense, so they can create a tornado storm and drum up stories and headlines from that. And they went out. AJ Brown they gave him 11 targets. It is what it is. The offense is going to be the offense. I'm more focused on I think they all understand it. Hey, we don't care who. It's not going to look pretty. That's fine. We don't care who we got to play. And let's not discredit Detroit's defense either. Packers defense is pretty solid as well last week. Detroit has, if it's not the Eagles, Detroit's right there at number 2. You can say the Rams, whatever, but they're also they've been playing at a really high level. So that's a really good unit on the other side that they saw last night. So I don't want to take away from there and just say, oh, well, the Eagles offense was horrible. It's tough in the NFL. That's 1 and 2 right there last night. It's not going to look pretty.
No doubt.
Yeah, the other two major things here was one, the tush push got stopped. And I know there's no moral victories in football, but the fact the Lions were kind of in the game because they stopped 2 tush pushes was kind of insane. And then I want to put this out right now so we don't forget. I am betting on a tie on Black Friday when the Bears play the Eagles because this game completed the Bears-Eagles alliance. The Bears are now 3-0 against the NFC East, and the Eagles are 3-0 against the NFC North. So they have to tie on Black Friday, right?
Yeah, there is a nice alliance going there. That's just your way of trying to pick something out of nothing. If it makes you happy, sure, Brian. They tie on Black Friday, but I just think in South Philly, man, there's just dude, did you hear when the Lions ran out and the just suffocating boos that ran? Jared Goff probably shit his pants, dude. He's never heard that. He's
Big
never
difference.
been in that environment. Are you kidding me?
Big difference from them going to DC the week before and Jared Goff getting his name chanted for a road game.
Right. Dude, that 8:15, 8:20 Sunday night football, it's cold, freezing, windy, and you come out and it's just the suffocating. It's thick through the broadcast that you can hear those boos. I'm telling you, man, you can sit here and say, well, they're in the NFL, they're this and that. When you're in that moment, man, it's fucking rattling. And maybe Goff was a little shooken up. He's a California pretty boy. Came to South Philly in the cold.
Yeah, he likes his domes, that's for sure.
Yeah, and he came to South Philly in the freezing cold, suffocating boos. Look what happened.
We'll see if it happens again in the NFC title game. I think it's got to be. Well, the Rams are still the Rams.
The Rams are there.
And
it is tough to beat teams twice, but the Eagles did it last year, all year. So I'm not worried about the Rams gave a game away. Yeah, they also came to South Philly when it was still warm out. So I'll leave it at that. Nothing else. A win's a win. 8-2, number 1 seed. We want to talk championship DNA. They have it. They know how to get the win when it counts.
Yeah, that loss to the Giants is looking funnier and funnier by the day because it's just like how in the world did that happen? Especially as the Giants keep on losing. They lost again to the Packers. Even when they tried to get Jet Life to help them out and injure Josh Jacobs, they found a way to lose.
I mean,
hate
dude,
that
that interim coach that they have in there, that guy's a little bit of a clown. But
Eagles legend Mike Kafka.
it's,
I feel like he got in some games back in the day.
he did, but it doesn't make him not a clown, dude. I thought some of the play calling was questionable, decision making was questionable. I don't know. He's an interim head coach. It's exactly what you saw yesterday, and it's why the Green Bay Packers. I mean, I think maybe if you have Dable in that game yesterday, you guys potentially come out with the win. But you could tell that LaFleur, as much hate that he gets, as much hate as Jordan Love might get, they're established in the NFL, and the Giants with a super old backup Jameis Winston and a new interim head coach. It just, even though it was close, it just, that catch by Christian Watson was just kind of like hey, we're the better team. We're going to make the better play and we're going to finish this game. And that's exactly what that play kind of felt like yesterday.
Yeah, Christian Watson makes that play. And then on the next drive, Jameis Winston driving, sees 2 high safeties, and Jalen Hyatt running a corner route, which is going to work most of the time, decides to stop on his route. Jameis throws to where he should have ended his route, throws a pick. And I think now all the Giants fans that were clamoring for Jalen Hyatt to get more playing time under Brian Dable kind of realize, hey, maybe Dable was right to not play this guy, and he may not be that good, which doesn't make any sense, but it's just the Giants' luck with drafting. And Joe Schmo, that should put even a bigger target on his back.
Yeah, I'm surprised. He's going to go at the end of the year, right?
Yeah, he'll go, and he'll probably go to the Raiders or the Jets. Or Joe Schmo or Jalen Hyatt?
Joe Schmo.
Apparently not. Apparently he is leading the coaching search, and Jake Glazer was on the Fox pregame saying he had a conversation with Schmo, and they were talking about Matt Nagy, and yeah, it was a lot of names like that. Mike McCarthy was mentioned. That would just set this team back another decade.
Oh, buddy.
Because I don't need Jackson Dart getting affected by either of those coaches.
Remember when he was coaching the Cowboys like 2 years ago, and we were all like, yeah, we hope that he stays there for a long time because the Cowboys will be bad for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And now he might be the head coach of your football team.
Yeah, he might. And especially with the Lane Kiffin and James Franklin looking like they're going to find jobs back in college. Giants are going to go to one of these reject NFL coaches, and it's not looking too promising.
Oh, boy. Good luck, Brian.
The vibes are really bad. I don't know if you guys saw this story about Abdul Carter, but he was benched for the first series. It's because he fell asleep in a team meeting. It's just it's not.
I don't blame him.
That's what a lot of Giants fans are saying. It's like you can really only listen to Shane Bowen for so long before you just fall asleep. The fact he's still employed is crazy. It's not good in the Giants plan. They need to get Jackson Dart back, and they do play the Lions next weekend in Detroit, so that may be a fun game in terms of the points with Jackson Dart back.
And the cameras.
And the cameras. They're going to lose by like 30, but
we could talk about one. I just went on a rant about the Lions defense that doesn't change. I think they'll struggle. And 2, there's conversation that, the Giants, whether front office, coaching staff, whoever has advised Jackson Dart to play a little more cautiously. If he does that or not, completely different story. But does that maybe mix in to him playing a little cautious if he comes back this week? Lions defense, is electric, coming off a tough loss, so they're only going to be that much more fired up. I don't know, Brian, your thoughts on Dart playing more cautious, and then how that maybe looks for the rest of the year, and maybe for him to be this amazing guy, he has to play reckless like he has.
Yeah, so I equated him to a Walmart Josh Allen when he first started running around reckless like this. But you see what Josh Allen does every week, and you saw it against the Bucs this week, where he runs a lot, but it's all in the red zone and goal to go opportunities. I think part of the reason Schmo and the Mara family was so sick of Brian Dable is because he kept calling these runs for Jackson Dart on like 1st and 10 from their own 30, and those are hits you don't need to take. So I don't think Dart needs to play more conservatively. They need to pick spots for him to use his legs and use it like Josh Allen does when you get in the red zone. That's where you run the ball. And if you take the big hit down there, yeah, sure. I mean, you're trying to score a touchdown, but there's a reason to take that big hit.
But you're maybe doing one big hit, it's just one big hit on the drive compared to like 4 in a row to get down into the red zone and then obviously score. So I think that makes sense. He's still a young kid, 22 years old, so he's going to have to be able to realize that, mature fast, and implement that, because his game instincts, especially as a younger guy, are going to take over. He's going to want to extend the play. He's going to want to run for it. He's going to want to play physical. That's not something you can just pull out of the player, right? And I know he had the concussion. He sat out for a week, but just going to the guy and say, hey, man, you got to play more cautiously. You can't, don't do this, don't do that. Maybe when you're down in goal to go situations, you get on your feet a bit more, go for it with the hit. That's instincts, man. So it's tough to take that out of a player, especially, who wants to win, has passion. You can tell he wears the game on his sleeve, which is good. But I think that's going to be a tricky kind of waters to navigate in him, pulling those instincts out of his game and being smart with when to deploy it and when to be a little more conservative.
And it's really hard, too, because I don't know his high school football roster, maybe even middle school football roster, but I'm pretty sure up until he had Cam Scatabo for like 3 games this year, he has always been the best running back on his team. And he's been the guy like, I'm going to run the ball and I'm going to take it. And it's like, he probably is now without Cam. He's dealing with Devin Singletary and Tyrone Tracy, but so it's hard to just get that out of him and be like, you can hand the ball off to people.
Tyrone Tracy was your love last year, Brian. Don't act like you're just completely flipping.
Jackson Dart's that good of a runner.
He's a good runner, but he can't, the whole conversation we're having right now, he cannot be one that's taking these hits. Like, he can be as good as he wants, but he cannot be the one that's taking these hits unless they're, in goal-to-go opportunities, important stuff like the red zone. But that's why Dable got fired. Is because he was taking these hits. So obviously there's talk coming down from the upper brass saying, you got to play a little bit more cautiously. And why wouldn't he too? And I understand you can't take the dog out of the player. I'm not saying that. But in a season where you don't have your starting running back anymore, you don't have your starting wide receiver, there's issues elsewhere, obviously. Why not just take it easy?
Yeah, it's so hard because he's a winner and he's had the mentality that I'm just going to win the game for my team throughout his whole life. And he can throw the ball well. Like, we've seen him make so many good throws. So just scramble to throw the ball away and you don't have to use your legs all the time. That's going to be tough to instill in him. But I still have faith he can be a really good quarterback because we've seen him make such good throws this season.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, whatever happens this season really won't amount to much or anything really. But, we can build on that and be hopeful for the future. It's good to be hopeful for your team, Brian.
Yeah, I'm happy I finally have a quarterback that I can look forward to instead of trying to convince myself that Daniel Jones is the guy or do the whole Tommy DeVito gimmick. This is actually a real quarterback I can look at and be like, there's something to build there. But it's not this season.
It's not this season. But hopefully he stays healthy enough where it can be for a season.
Another rookie quarterback made his debut.
It's time.
Week. It's time for Shadeur Sanders in Cleveland. If you ask Josina Anderson, it was not his debut.
What?
Because he had to come in for relief duty and he didn't get to practice with the ones all week. And we're already having all that discussion on Twitter. Either way, Shadeur Sanders, 4 for 16. He had a couple nice throws. he still looked better than Dylan Gabriel. He actually threw the ball downfield.
I mean, to be fair, yeah, you're right. He did look better than Dylan Gabriel because Dylan Gabriel hasn't shown that he's able to throw the ball 15 yards down the field. I'm sure he can.
In the game the other day, couldn't throw the ball 5 yards downfield.
I know. I'm sure he can. It's a slight, but like he's bad. I don't know why we've ever needed to see him on the NFL football field. But Shadeur, it's not like he did much better. Like you said, 4 of 16. To be fair, didn't have half a second to throw the ball most snaps. But yeah, no, not impressed by either of them. It's back to the drawing board for the Browns.
No, I can see why he's been on the bench all year, and he probably should have been. But yeah, if I'm a Browns fan, I am very worried about the direction of the team, and maybe I should not a full apology, but give a little more slack to Stefanski because he has no quarterback. He has 0 quarterback. Maybe they did trade away Joe Flacco too for basically a bag of chips. So was their whole, what direction are the Browns going? We want to talk about the Giants not having a plan and no direction. At least they have some pieces. Like, what the hell? Like, what are the Browns doing? What direction are they going in?
I think you're kind of forced now to go in the Shadeur direction. And
you are, because at least you'll stay in media headlines.
Yeah, and he was.
I don't know if they need that.
I don't know if they want to be in the headlines.
He had a lot of bad throws, but he did make a really good throw to a backup third-string tight end in the end zone that the Ravens corner made a great play on. That would have been a touchdown had it not been a great play. He also missed a touchdown throw, but you saw him take chances, which is something Dylan Gabriel hasn't done. And yeah, those chances might end up in 5 interception games, but at least he's trying to take chances.
Career better or worse than Jameis Winston?
Worse. Jameis had a 30 touchdown season.
Jameis was a first-round pick. Was he not?
Yeah.
Was he 1 overall?
I don't know if he was 1, but I thought he was a first-round pick.
I think Jameis and Mariota went 1 too.
Where did Jameis get drafted originally?
The Bucks. He might have been 1, and then Mariota was 2 to Tennessee.
Yeah, that's exactly how that went.
I think we're also seeing
they may have been different classes.
But yeah, obviously higher expectations on Jameis Winston than
first round pick versus 4th. And I think some takeaways I saw from the game is why he might have dropped to the 4th round or 5th round whenever he did get drafted was just kind of the football IQ, right? Like the athletic ability can probably be there, but there's a really interesting play on 3rd down when the Ravens showed blitz. They walked down a linebacker, then backed up the coverage, and then when he hiked it, the guy who was showing blitz backed off, and then the other guy rushed from distance. And you could tell, they just completely fooled Shadeur. So, and that's, a teaching moment, and he can obviously learn and get better. But the NFL is a lot different than playing at Colorado and some of the defense he's seen. So I thought he didn't have the week of practice. He wasn't supposed to be the starter. There's that whole conversation, but you could tell overmatched, inexperienced, and defenses, I think, can confuse him easily to say it, quickly or whatever. But go ahead, Brian. When did Winston and Mariota go?
Well, I'm laughing because of the Jaguars pick in this draft. This was a pretty brutal draft, first round in 2015. You had Jameis 1, Mariota 2. The Jaguars picked 3, and then the Raiders picked Amari Cooper at 4. The then Redskins picked Brandon Sheriff at 5. The Jets picked Leonard Williams at 6.
Guess who they picked?
So who did the Jaguars pick above Amari Cooper, Brandon Sheriff, Leonard Williams, and Todd Gurley went 10th to the Rams?
I think
what year was this?
2015. The Giants drafted Eric Flowers in this class, so I also had a terrible first round.
2015.
The Eagles drafted
Jordan Matthews.
They were throwing babies, and we was catching them. Unlike
Aguilar. Hey man, he contributed that Super Bowl season.
Yeah,
so.
he had a good
He had a
couple years.
decent run that Super Bowl year. So we'll knock him. It's not as bad as Jalen Reagor.
I believe this
Was
guy is
20
still in the league, Jack.
My
still been
guess was
around.
my guess was going to be Justin Blackman. So.
Oh, yeah, no, I thought that was Lenny.
No, Lenny was like 2017.
2017? I mean, was his rookie year when we went to the AFC Championship?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Was that his rookie year?
I think so.
Because the next year he was like still good, but he wasn't that good.
No.
I
Because
remember
Bortles
that.
had Carlos Hyde for a while, right?
Dude.
All right, either way, do you want to guess or do you just want me to give it to you?
2015. Who was it?
Dante Fowler.
Oh, my God. Yeah, he
Was
is still in the league. Yeah,
Was
he's
he
fucking
bad?
good. No, he was bad for us.
I was going
He
to
was
say, I
bad.
thought he was kind of good.
He was bad for us and then went on to be a great edge rusher. Same thing with Clavion Chason, who we took a couple years ago, who is with another team right now and is doing amazing.
Yeah,
Since
this
we're
wasn't a
talking-
great first round.
Since we're talking Jaguar football, specifically drafts, Jack, are you ready to? And again, I know you're clouded by this most recent game, but Trayvon Walker over Aiden Hutchinson. You know, where do you and Duval Nation stand on the pick? You
Look,
still
I'm-
defending it.
Look, I'm good with Trayvon Walker. Is he better than Aiden Hutchinson? I don't know. That's a conversation, not for me, because I'm going with Trayvon 10 times out of 10.
Well, the answer is no. I mean,
I'm going with Trayvon.
The
I'm
answer
going with
is no.
Trayvon. Look, I mean, the other guy, he's, that leg injury kept him out whole year. I don't want to hear it. So Trayvon hurts his wrist. He sits out one game and then he suits back up with a club, and he's been playing with a cast all season. But he's been making big plays for us this year. A lot of big plays in that Chargers game.
If he was like the 10 pick or even like the 6 or 7 or 8 pick, a late pick in that top 10, I think he's a great player. But it's just the fact he went 1. That's always going to be it's going to have that stigma.
We had a terrible GM at the time. We don't got Stoner like we do now. So, we had a terrible GM. He tried to get cute, go, Colson Loveland over the surefire.
He big brained it.
Tyler Warren, and he tried to big brain it. I mean, Aiden Hutchinson versus Trayvon Walker. Trayvon Walker was always the project, and we're about at that time where we're gonna have to pay him. So this is a big year for him, and we'll see if we end up paying him. Is he going to be worth top tier pass rusher money? No, and if he knows that and signs a little bit lesser of a deal, I'm cool with that. If he's looking for the top tier, I don't mind letting him go and go sign somewhere else.
I was just curious as where you stood on that front. Sounds like you're still all in on Walker.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I don't think Aiden Hutchinson's showing up on my screen enough this year. So I'm Trayvon Walker all the way.
Brian, your thoughts before we move on.
I've been on the Aiden Hutchinson. I think we had this conversation like a year.
I thought you were a Trayvon guy. That's why I asked.
I like Trayvon more than the media does when he's already been labeled as a bust. But it's just the fact he went number 1. They didn't set him up for success. He should not have been the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah, it's not that he's a bad player, but he shouldn't have won over Hutchinson, is my view. And I think whatever.
I think the best way I could put it is it's not a huge mistake. He's a good player, but he's not Anthony Bennett. Like, it's not that much of a disaster.
I'm saying that there's not enough of a
Could have been way
difference
worse
between the two for us to be having this conversation.
Well, we can always have a conversation.
I mean, it's what do you want more? I would take Trayvon Walker 13 out of 5 times, a million times out of 1 on if we're talking about stopping the run. Like, he can stop the run way better than Aiden Hutchinson can. But does Aiden Hutchinson get to the quarterback more and get more sacks? Yes. Trayvon Walker stay on the field and stay healthy more? Yes. Play more games? Yes. So, I mean, there's different things you can look at. Pick your poison. He's been a huge, huge staple of our defense.
All right.
Fair
Last
enough.
thing on the Shadeur Sanders before we got into this rabbit hole. How many touchdowns, how many interceptions does he finish the year with?
What's he already got? 2 picks?
I mean, it's kind of tough. Do you expect him to play every single game for the rest of the year?
Yeah, let's assume he plays every game. Let's assume Dylan Gabriel sits out and Shadeur plays well enough to Stefanski force his hand and he's the starter for the rest of the year.
Stefanski said he was they were rolling with Gabriel, right? And I don't think Gabriel's injury was that bad. They just
He's concussed. It's going to be tough to.
Yeah, I mean, who else is on the roster quarterback wise, right? Gabriel concussed, Joe Flacco been gone.
For a team that started with 5 quarterbacks this offseason.
Yeah, I mean, for real.
I think Deshaun's practice window just opened.
Is Deshaun Watson still there?
Technically, yeah.
Oh my God, dude! Could you imagine he came back and like lit the world on fire for like the final 3 games of the season?
Woody Johnson hands him a bag
Oh
to go
my
be the Jets quarterback next year.
Please. We low-key might have just actually called that, by the way.
We got to stop giving that guy money.
I could totally see that happening.
We need to stop paying that man.
It would be a 1-year deal. It'd be the same thing.
It would have to be like a prove-it deal.
It would be a prove-it deal, but he'd probably get a Russell Wilson-style contract, I would think. I mean, he's not going to get like $3 million. I think he's worth probably – I mean, think about it.
You got a max contract with the Browns.
Right. So put all the things you know about this. Like I was talking about the athlete. He's probably better than at least 8 quarterbacks.
I mean, he's been out of the league for so long. It feels like I don't know if I can even consider him like a top 20 guy right now.
I know, but like I think I would take a flyer on him, like the Raiders, Jets, like that's
yeah. If I'm one of those 2 teams, yeah.
Like
the
Raiders,
why not?
the Jets.
What do you have to lose?
Yeah, well, that's the thing. You have to be a team that has nothing to lose. Otherwise, you're not bringing them in.
Raiders, Jets. I think those are the only 2.
And then the Browns.
And then the Browns.
The Raiders just sounds like a disaster, though.
The Jets would be so funny. Imagine him, Adonai
Jets would
Mitchell,
be
and
funny.
now Greg Orley on the same offense.
Jets seem very likely if they're going to keep because they're going to get draft the Oregon quarterback and just still continue to throw their franchise years back. I don't think any of the quarterbacks coming out of college this year are going to be difference makers in the NFL.
No, we already know how you feel about Mendoza.
Yep.
But the Jets were on a bye, so that's all the Jets talk we need to do today.
They somehow always make an appearance.
No, they had the Thursday night game against Patriots.
Oh, they did.
Yep.
Yeah,
they got smacked.
Terrible. Yeah. Also, they benched Justin Fields. He had some good throws that the receivers dropped.
He's not a good quarterback.
Yeah, but what do you have to lose? Like we just said about Deshaun Watson.
Yeah, I mean,
was
it Tyrod Taylor?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're not gaining anything from that. He's a journeyman backup.
Yeah, I just hope he doesn't break a rib again. Seems like that always tends to happen with him when he has to come in for emergency duty. Anything on the Steelers-Bengals? Aaron Rodgers got hurt.
Jamar Chase got suspended.
He did. And your boy Jalen Ramsey.
He got suspended too?
I think they both got a game.
I didn't see that about Ramsey. Ramsey got kicked out of the game that they were in.
Maybe that's Ramsey got kicked out of the game.
He got ejected from the game for throwing a punch at Jamar Chase, but now Jamar Chase is getting suspended for a game because they saw the video. Jamar Chase spat on him, which is pretty ridiculous.
This has happened twice now this season. Like, why are players spitting on people?
Maybe they think you can get away with it. Can't get away with a club to the head, but maybe a spit.
Yeah, it happens so quick in real time. But, dude, there's cameras on everything, especially in the NFL. It's, in a quick split decision, quick they think they got it. He thought he snuck it in there.
It's
But-
not only the second spit; it's the second time we've seen someone lie about something like this. Like Chase, of course, said he didn't spit, and then the week before, Amon-Ra clocked Javon Kinlaw, and then Kinlaw retaliated, and he ended up getting suspended. And Amon-Ra said, "Yeah, I didn't do anything. He just hit me out of nowhere." And then the video gets released, and Amon-Ra hit him first. And it's like, why are you gonna lie? We talk about the Fox cameras all the time, how everything's in high def now. Like, you're gonna get caught.
Yeah, you can't get away with anything anymore. There's a camera on literally everybody, every play.
Deny. Oldest trick in the book.
But you're caught in 4K, and it's literally 4K now.
They're not going to trial.
Guess not, unless you're Deshaun Watson.
They just get the little slip with a fine on it in their locker and move on.
Be more like Marshawn. We could talk some Broncos Chiefs. I was wrong. I'm ready to admit it. I was wrong to say the Broncos could not try to win this division and knock off the Chiefs.
Yeah, also wrong. I join you there, bud. I definitely thought that no matter how the beginning of the season started for Kansas City, they were going to find a way and get the division back, but it doesn't look like that's going to be the case now.
This is your opportunity.
I tried to tell you guys. You didn't want to listen. I understood the take Brian had. I thought it was fair. Like, don't bet something until it happens. But I like what I saw last year from Bo Nix. I like Sean Payton's, whether is he a good guy, bad guy, whatever. I think he's a solid coach. So we get an appearance from Brian's cat. But I'm not that surprised. I really believed in the Broncos this year, and they're proving everything that I believed in. Still a little ways to go, but I mean, you want to talk about you control your own destiny. That's exactly what the Denver Broncos do and control right now in the AFC West, especially with the Chargers also losing.
Yeah, that defense is just so good, and Bo Nix has been good enough. It's kind of weird he's just deciding to target Troy Franklin because they're good buddies, and he's getting like 10 targets a game when Cortland Sutton's not really getting the ball at all. But they're getting it done, despite Sean Payton.
Yeah, Cortland Sutton's still getting like shadow coverage from the best corners in the league, or best corners on the other team, because he is their only true number one wide receiver that they have on that team. So yeah, he had Trent McDuffie on him, who's by my book top 3 corner in the league, and you're not going to have much success against him. Nobody does.
Yeah, but it's like every week Troy Franklin's getting 10 targets, and I mean it's working. They're winning football games.
Yeah, because like I said, you got to put the best corner on Cortland Sutton. I mean, Cortland Sutton, before the emergence of Troy Franklin, this is a guy who catches 5 passes, 6 passes for 60 yards and a touchdown like every week for them.
I don't want to believe in the Broncos, but I think I'm starting to believe in the Broncos. Nothing they do makes sense, and that's just Sean Payton. But that defense is just so good. And Bo Nix makes the throws when he has to.
Yeah,
now maybe J.K. Dobbins getting hurt's a blessing in disguise. You can play R.J. Harvey more.
Yeah. I just never thought – it's always tough, right? Like, Bo Nix played, 10 years, 15 years in college? I never usually those type of quarterbacks don't progress nicely. I mean, last example is kind of Kenny Pickett, was a 25-year-old rookie. I'm sure Brian's going to have somebody up his sleeve of who turned into this all-pro, all-world quarterback. But for the most part, when you're drafted as a 24, 25-year-old rookie as a quarterback, I just think you kind of already are what you are, and there isn't a lot of room for improvement. And Bo Nix has kind of shattered that stigma these last couple of years. And sure, it helps that he has an all-world defense. You can say the best in the NFL. I think there's a couple that you could say are the best in the NFL and are interchangeable. But he's getting it done, man. Somebody's got to steer the ship, and he's the one doing it. And they're 8-2, and in firm control of the AFC West.
Yeah, I'm not bought in on this team yet. I'm just not. I do think they have the best defense in the NFL, hands down. I do believe that. I mean, to your point, Matt, the Eagles, Texans, we've seen other defenses be very, very good. The Lions, and they're interchangeable. But I do think on a week-to-week basis, I'm taking the Broncos defense over everybody else. That offense, though, I mean, how many games have we seen this year? They haven't even scored 20 points, or they have maybe 6 points all game, and then we get to the fourth quarter and they go, score 20 or something like that. Like, I can't trust the offense. They seem to some way get it done every game. That's why they're atop the AFC. But come playoff time, when everybody's got their best foot forward, I don't know if the Broncos are going to be able to score enough points, and you need to score points in the playoffs, as good as their defense is.
What do you need to see to be bought in by this team, right? Like, people are going to say, well, they just beat the Chiefs. They're in firm control. What more do you need to see for, we're not talking about Bo Nix. We're talking the Broncos as a whole, 8-2,
Mm-hmm.
Sean Payton, the head coach, leaders of the AFC, leaders of the division. What do you need to see, Jack? They just beat Patty Mahomes and the Chiefs.
You're talking to the guy that hates Sean Payton and he hates Bo Nix. So I don't know if he's ever going to buy in.
That's true.
Look, that might be fair, and maybe I bite the bullet and they end up winning the Super Bowl this year. But are you ready to say that Bo Nix is going to be a Super Bowl champion? I'm not. And it starts with the quarterback. I'm not ready to say he's going to be a champion. I'm not ready to say that a wide receiver room where your best wide receiver is Cortland Sutton and then Troy Franklin. Like, I'm not ready to say that they're legit. Evan Ingram, your starting tight end, Super Bowl champion? Yeah, right. J.K. Dobbins goes down. That's not a good look for them. They're going to be relying on a rookie, R.J. Harvey, Super Bowl champion. I'm not buying into it. I don't think they have the offense to do it. If their defense can hold teams to 12 points a game, like, sure, okay, maybe they can get it done. But that's not today's NFL.
No, it's not.
Well,
but
the best team in football may be doing that right now.
If there's
actually, that's a good point, Brian. The two best teams, AFC and NFC, the offensives haven't looked great, and they've been powered by the defenses. So maybe we're seeing is that your cat?
Yeah, she's
purring.
Oh, you can hear her purring. I thought you heard her meow.
I heard the meow.
Yeah, whatever the difference is, I don't even.
Yeah, she's doing both. But
the defenses might be king right now, but it is the regular season. We'll see what happens in the playoffs.
I think I'm with you more than I'm not with you. I don't think the Broncos are going to win the Super Bowl, but I could also see them somehow we get into February and we're like, how the hell are the Broncos our best chance for the Eagles not to go back to back? I could totally see that just surprising headline. Like,
if it's Broncos Eagles, I'm so confident in that rematch. You're telling me Jalen Hurts isn't coming out just so confident. He's not losing that football game if that's the matchup in February.
Yeah, I'm taking Jalen Hurts and the Eagles over Bo Nix and the Broncos every single time in that.
But the defenses are on the same level. And Jack's point, the Eagles' offense, at least talent-wise, surpasses what the Broncos have.
Yeah, Eagles are right there defensively.
Right there, and then offense,
is nowhere close.
At least talent. The Eagles are going to – I think you're going to see a tough –
The only way I bite my words here is if Sean Payton just puts on a masterclass of coaching or restarts Bounty Gate.
We talk about the NFC, it's going to be the Eagles, the Rams, and the Lions.
Yeah.
The AFC, in AFC playoffs where the Chiefs aren't in it, who the hell knows who's going to come out of that? Buffalo just lost to Miami.
That's why I'm so excited about my Jaguars, man. It's wide open. I think the whole league is wide open.
I think the Eagles have cemented themselves as the top of the NFC. And honestly, as still that team.
Yeah, I think that's
still
fair.
The champs. But everybody else,
I got to
wide
call
open. Right, if you had to pick one. Dude, Packers on the road, Lions at home, I mean, these are games where it's like, oh, the Eagles, like, they're going to have the stretch was Green Bay, Lions, Cowboys. And you're like, holy, that's like a tough stretch. 2 of them on the road. Can you go 1-2, 2-1? Everybody would take. Now they're looking at, I mean, again, who knows what happens on the road in Dallas this Sunday, but looking at going 3-0 in a stretch that people were like, hey, 1-2 and just get through it. Dogs.
Yeah, I mean, according to the odds right now, Philly's plus 500. This is to win the Super Bowl. The Rams at plus 650, so not that too far behind. Then you have the Bills at plus 800. Then everybody else is plus 1,000 or higher.
So they have Eagles.
I don't think the Bills have any right being plus 800.
Yeah, I don't
It's
think
just because they're the Bills and they're saying, hey, Josh Allen without Patrick Mahomes, maybe that's how I can finally
Eagles, that's how you get it done.
Eagles, where are the Chiefs at?
The Chiefs are plus 1,000. They're tied with the Colts. And yet, just the Colts. They're both the 4th favorite. And
what
then
were
the
the
Lions
Colts
are plus 1,100.
preseason? Didn't we talk about this, Brian?
Yeah, I think they were plus 3,500.
They were the third. They were the third ranked team in the AFC South going into the season, as far as the odds go.
So there's no way they were plus 3,500 to win the Super Bowl. They had to be longer.
Maybe. A lot of teams make the playoffs. They were only like plus 340 to win the division because the Texans and Jaguars were like both pretty even.
It was like even, and then
The Colts were like a slight underdog. But it's going to be interesting. It's pretty wide open.
What do we got next? I'm fucking starving here.
Rams, Seattle. Sam Darnold. We kind of already talked about this. Sam Darnold throwing
4 picks. 4 picks. Did we all have Rams confidence?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or did anybody bite the Seattle propaganda? I guess nobody did.
I was thinking about taking the Seattle Kool-Aid, and I kind of was wishing I did when I saw those. When I saw those jerseys that the Rams came out in. I don't know. They should never wear those again.
You didn't like those?
No.
Nothing, and maybe whatever on the jersey. I thought they were fine.
I kind of liked them.
Brian's a hater of jerseys.
Black is not in their color profile.
It was a dark navy, wasn't it?
No, it was black.
It was black.
It looked black.
Was it? Was it black? I thought it was like a
It
dark.
was navy. You can't put navy on light blue.
I'll have to go back and check, but I think they pulled it off nicely, just like the way the Patriots pulled off those Thursday night jerseys against the Jets.
I was going to say we've seen a lot worse in the NFL.
We have,
like a lot worse, but
yeah, I guess we've seen worse in LA this year. Those Chargers Simpsons jerseys.
Yeah, not that I didn't have anything on this game, and just a random thought in general. There's nothing worse than when you take a money line or you take a spread and you turn the game on to watch it, and the team that they're playing, it's a like huge uniform day. Like they're wearing the special uniform. Like that was me for when the Packers play the Giants, and I had Packers money line, and I go on, and the first thing is the Giants in the retro jerseys. I'm like, oh my God, they're literally going to lose this game. But luckily they didn't. I don't know. You guys never have that thought? The uniforms play into the team playing better. When it's retro day, the team plays better.
Oh, no doubt. There's no doubt.
So that's all I'm trying to say is a little rattling when you take the other side and the team you're playing has the retro jerseys on.
Yeah, I've been never bet against the Eagles in their Kelly Green. That's the
right.
one thing I won't do.
But so imagine not knowing it's a Kelly Green day.
That would be brutal. I'd be very
you turn it on, you're like, oh no.
I would not be happy.
Right?
But that's almost how I feel. Like I feel the other way too. Like if it's an ugly ass jersey, like I thought the Rams were, then I'm like, oh well, I don't know if they're going to be able to win this game. But turns out Sam Darnold just can't beat the Rams.
Apparently this
don't even
is
have a retro jersey.
Apparently this is a midnight blue.
I thought it was black until now we're looking.
Is the sky not black when it's midnight? Is that what they're going for? They're saying it's the sky.
Brian,
it's like sky blue, but it's midnight.
I think so. I think that would make sense. Good job.
It's black with a tint of blue.
Yeah, we're trusting McVay and Stafford. They've just been doing it so well this year. And, as good as Darnold and the Seahawks have been, these guys have been there, done that. They're the vets. You're going to take them every time over Darnold.
The bottom line, Darnold throws 4 picks. You're not going to win the game throwing
Never.
4 picks. 4 turnovers, too much in the NFL. 2 is too much. So 4, I don't know any team that will ever win with 4. 3 turnovers for me is the line. So 4, done. You're never going to win. And to be fair, they lost by 2? So I don't know if that says more on, what the hell were the Rams maybe doing, but 4 interceptions. They only lose the game 21-19. I didn't watch much of this game, but that's just
it was a good defensive game.
I mean, if the Rams punter, I think his name's Phillip Evans, maybe that's also the name of a former Mets farmhand. So I may be mixing that up. But if he doesn't make that great punt at the end, pinned him down at the 1 for the last drive, they still got the ball for a 61-yard field goal. If that punt goes out at the 10, Seahawks have a chance to win it with a 51-yard field goal. So
Right.
they still almost pulled this off.
Could have pulled it off. 4 or 4 interceptions, like divisional NFC West games, man.
Yeah, important game too. I mean, that's for top of that division, and I think second place in the conference, right?
Yeah, the Niners are right there after they. And we don't have to talk at all about that game, but Jacoby Brissett, NFL record for completions in a game. Michael Wilson had like 200 receiving yards, and they still got blown out. The 49ers will be there. This division's going to have 3 playoff teams.
Yeah, well, as of right now, they have the Rams locked into the 2 spot, the Seahawks locked into the number 1 wild card spot, being the 5 seed, and then the Niners in the 7 seed. So, yeah, you're getting 3 out of the NFC West as of right now.
Yeah, it's going to come down to Carolina and Chicago, maybe, for that last spot.
Well, Chicago has the division right now.
They're not going to win that division.
They have
They're
the
going to
North
play the Lions
right now.
again.
Yeah, I mean, I expect the Lions to be back in the picture, but they're technically not in the playoff picture right now.
Really?
Yes.
Who's got the 6?
The Green Bay Packers.
Okay.
Right now in the NFC, it is the Eagles, the Rams, the Bears, the Bucks, the Seahawks, the Packers, the Niners.
Wow. That just got really interesting with the Bears. Even though the Bears aren't good, if they keep winning, they're going to get in.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, that's how it works. If you keep winning, you get in.
That's how sports work.
But you just have to think that the Lions somehow get right, a couple divisional games in there, and they're the ones that are in there. The Packers and the Bears, they can fight for a wild card spot.
Yeah. Who knows? Maybe the Panthers. It's going to get real fun.
Yeah,
Both
the
playoff races.
The NFC playoff pictures. AFC too. It's going to be very, very fun, and it's all shaping up. This is the time of year. It's getting cold. Snow's coming out. We've seen a couple of snow games already. Man, this is the time of year.
Well, speaking of playoff races, this will be our last game before our fantasy update. Bryce Young, probably his best game of his young NFL career. Matt's Panthers are right there.
They're right there. I mean, bounce back spot. It's drives the knife a little more deeper that they lost at home to the Saints. I mean, this team could be 7-4 right now in a really, really, really nuts spot that nobody ever would have predicted other than myself. So that Saints game is what I just keep going back to, and they just let a division game get away from them at home. They followed up with a nice divisional road game, and it's what this Panthers team is, man. They're weird. They show up when they're not supposed to, and they fall apart when you think they should be able to get it done. So, recipe for spoiler if they make the playoffs.
On the back of Rico Dowdle, maybe. Yeah. No, he's been phenomenal for them. Like he's got to be like one of the biggest, traded. I don't even know how to say this properly, but they're loving him in Carolina. He's running so well.
Just a diamond in the rough. The Cowboys just gave up on him. He looked good in Dallas. They just said, no, we're good. And I guess Javonte Williams has had a renaissance there, but man, Rico Dowdle. Poor Chuba Hubbard.
Yeah.
Did they sign Chuba?
I think they did give him a contract.
I was going to say, did he get a contract? Because that would suck.
I don't know.
They're clearly all in on Dowdle. I mean,
he's the better back. It's a shame he couldn't house that little bubble screen. Stepped out at the 10. And then Tet McMillan had his second touchdown. He looks really good too. Maybe the best receiver in the draft class.
Nah, Emeka Ibuka is definitely taking that title for me thus far.
Oh, that makes sense. I was more a shot at Travis Hunter.
Yeah, I know what you were doing, but I wasn't letting you have it. No, I'll fight your BS with logic.
Definitely up to this point.
Yeah, on the flip side, I mean, the Falcons, I think this was the nail in the coffin on their season. I mean, we're only 11 weeks in, not only. I mean, that's more than halfway through, but this was the nail in their coffin. They dropped to 3-7. Michael Penix has a knee injury. He's not playing next week. Drake London, or I think Penix is
might not be for the year. Captain Kirk's going to drive the ship.
I think I saw that he might be out for the year, and Drake London is hurt at least for a week. So yeah, this team is in a tough spot, but I don't think anybody really expected them to be all worldly this year in Penix's sophomore year, where he didn't really play the entirety of last year. I think we've seen enough good flashes from them this year where Falcons fans can be excited for the future. I don't know if I really believe in Penix as an NFL quarterback, but I think you can get excited if you're a Falcons fan for next year.
Yeah, there's pieces there. And they win games when they feature Bijan Robinson. And then they do this every week where they just say, all right, you had a great first half. Let's give you the ball 4 times in the second half, and we'll blow a lead. And that's exactly what they did.
That's exactly what they did.
So it must be so tough to be a Falcons fan. But you got the Braves down there, so.
They also had a brutal season.
What have they done?
Yeah.
They're always good.
Yeah.
They won it in what, 2019? No, 21? 22?
Yeah, I was going to say, it was like 3
They
years.
died when Freddie Freeman left.
I feel like he's been gone
They
for
died when Freeman left.
4 or 5 years now, though.
Was his
And
last
they've
year
been
when they
dead
won it?
since.
They've been
Yes.
Yeah, it must have been 21, I think. Either way, they're fine. My fantasy team's not fine. Jack, what happened in the fantasy league?
You ready for the fantasy update?
Yep.
Brought to you by
SeatGeek.
SeatGeek.
If you want to go to any games next weekend, the playoffs are heating up. The best place to buy a ticket, SeatGeek. New users, $20 off your first purchase with our code VIEWSFROM400 at checkout. That's VIEWSFROM400 at checkout. $20 off your first purchase.
Thanks, Brian. So we got a couple of updates from the Views from Section 400 Fantasy Football League. Cooper DeJean, congrats to you, man. Extends his winning streak to 6 games. He is still reigning at the top of the league with Njigba's die every day at 9-2. And they are sitting pretty atop the league, that's for sure. Nothing else too crazy happened. There's actually no upsets this week. That's not really fun to see. And let's see. Monday Night Miracle. Rippin' Darts needs Javonte Williams under 12 points to also extend himself out to a 6-game win streak. So let's see Javonte score some points tonight. And last but not least, Brian, you, our editor, Will, and Ben will be eliminated from the playoffs after this week.
Yeah, the Brian Thomas Jr. news on Sunday morning was tough. Also, didn't take Darius Slayton out of the lineup. Not that I really could have done anything else because my team is just in shambles with bye weeks. Keon Coleman's also out. It's a rough year for me.
Rough season. Yeah, maybe you try to draft better next year.
I will. I went for the LSU gimmick this year, and that clearly did not work.
Yeah, the gay Mets were not on your side this year.
No.
Can I get a shout out at least for starting Michael Wilson and him having 15 catches for 185 yards?
You most definitely can. That's a solid pickup.
Hell of a start, considering
Hell of a start.
everybody on my team was, Godwin's been out. I lost Scadaboo. Joe Mixon.
Joe Mixon is nowhere to be found.
We still have no idea.
No update.
Still no update. Still no idea. Cooper Kupp's just been I mean, just make it do with what we got. Chuba Hubbard, another prime example, got his job stolen. So just, do what we have to do. Mike Wilson, 33 points, 15 catches. Start of the week.
That's a big start. That's a big start.
It's a big Brian guy, too.
Yeah, I really liked Michael Wilson coming out. Drafted him over Puka Nacua. That's my sleeper. That did not work.
Yeah, it did not work. And then I got Devin Singletary. Went out there and you would think would take the reins over Tracy, but with that disaster of mismanagement that they have going on, who the hell knows how that'll play out.
He's their red zone back.
He should be their every down back. Whatever. I'll take the red zone work.
Yeah, Sam Laporta hitting the IR midweek didn't help either.
Yeah, dude, it's one after another. Look, if there's a league for it to happen, I'll take it as this league.
Oh, come on. They don't want to hear that.
There's minimal financial compensation, and I'm still setting lineups. I'll tell Mike Wilson picked up, started 33.
We appreciate the effort.
By the way, who won? Me. Who's not eliminated from the playoffs? Me.
I'm in that boat with you.
Am I really dead? I can't win out and make it?
Brian's dead.
You're gonna be Brian. You're gonna be a 3-8 football team.
Yeah, you can't make it at 6-8.
No.
7-8.
I don't
How many
think you
games are
can.
There's not enough games left.
We got to wait for the Monday night game to clear so you can get that little minus button next to your name so you know you're eliminated. But at 3-8 and
how many games are left? 4?
350 less points than me.
There'll still be multiple 6-win teams. There's still a chance.
Brian's dead.
Brian
he doesn't want to face the
Brian,
music.
the team that
He doesn't want to face the music.
The team that is just above the playoff line is 6-4. Mad at 6-4. Who's about to win and go to 7-4?
Yeah, but Rippin' Darts lost. He's 6-4.
I'm gonna. No, he's gonna be. So he'll be 6-5.
Yeah.
I'll be 6-5. Yeah, so there's gonna be a couple 6-win teams.
I'm
But
still alive.
there's gonna be 3 or 4 6-win teams fighting for
someone by
that
default.
spot. There's gonna be
You
one of those.
said mathematically eliminated. I will not be mathematically eliminated. There's still a chance.
I think you are. No, I think you are, bud.
No, if there's still teams with 6 wins, I can get to 6 wins.
Let me see. How many weeks do we have left?
Because one of those 6-win teams are going to play each other, and
But
by
there's
default, right. So if a 6-win team plays a 6-win team, what happens? One of them gets to 7 and shuts 4 on the final spot.
Yeah, Brian, you're cooked, bud.
Well, there's one team with 6 wins. There's 2 teams with 6 wins. Jack and Rippin' Darts. So do you play Rippin' Darts again this season?
Rippin'
Yeah,
Darts.
by default, somebody's going to play each other, and it's going to force one of those teams to get to 7.
This will decide it. If he plays Rippin' Darts, I'm cooked. If you don't play Rippin' Darts, there's still a chance.
No, I don't play Rippin' Darts.
There it is. I'm still alive.
I got to look at my schedule now.
Well, you'll have 7, right?
But yeah, well, I do play against Ben though, and that's an automatic win. So I don't know where you think you're getting.
Oh yeah, Ben's the auto win.
Still a chance.
I get an auto win against Ben.
Ben has a win.
Dude,
Yeah,
I just played him this
one.
week. Set his lineup.
But he has won.
I'm sorry, Brian, but just
Who
take
do
the
I?
L.
Who
Take the
do
L.
I? Who do I play down the stretch? Do I play Rippin' Darts? Because I'll bench my whole lineup.
You've got
And then we'll solidify this match.
You've got ripping
Equation.
darts the
Damn it.
last week of the
Yep.
regular season.
Not a
Week
problem.
You can't
14.
take 2 scheduled losses
And
in
there
1
you
year.
have it.
14.
Brian Houck eliminated from playoff contention in the Houston Section 400 Fantasy
Oh,
League.
man.
It wouldn't
That's
be
tough.
the nosebleeds if you didn't have some tomfoolery mixed in.
Damn it.
Sorry to rain on your parade.
That's okay. I wasn't going to make it anyway. my point 4 is so bad, too. I won't have the little eliminated symbol, at least for another week.
Yeah, I look,
You might be right.
I don't
you
think
might be right.
it's not gonna come down to me playing ripping
No.
darts at the end of the year for this
I'm
to
gonna
even-
lose next
even
week.
matter. Which is why we can joke around. And if for whatever reason it does, I'll set the lineup so that we can try and have some kind of fun in the final week. But I really don't think it's gonna even need to come to that.
I doubt it. All right.
Unbelievable.
I think that's the show. This is a long one. It's a fun one.
Yeah, I don't know how I always look at the outlines. I'm like, oh, this will be a breeze. And then it always, for whatever reason, the rabbit holes.
Trayvon Walker, Dante Fowler Jr.
Well, I saw a picture. It was like the first 3 or 4 picks of that. It's like Trayvon Walker, who, okay, been fine. Number 1 pick, fine. That's a different question, but he's been fine. And then it's like all pro, all pro, all pro, all pro. And it's just like, that was why I asked the question, because I was like, Jack, any regrets of all the other guys after are like all pros, and Trayvon Walker is good, but not an all pro?
I mean, when you take a guy at number 1 who is a project, it makes sense that he's not an all pro. You would hope, right, that 2 through, unless the other guys are projects as well, like 2 through 4 or whatever you're saying.
I don't even remember.
Like having them be all pros makes sense. I mean, you would hope that the brass doesn't fuck that pick up. Maybe ours did. I can definitely. Look, it's the Jaguars. People always got something to say for some reason. No one cares about the Jaguars, this, that, but everyone's got something to say about them. Well, we're a cool team. A lot of people like us. They just don't want to admit it. They're just jealous. Brian's so jealous of Trevor Lawrence. That's why he brings him up all the time.
Who would you rather have, Trevor Lawrence or Jackson Dart?
You are now in the mix.
Trevor
with DJ
Lawrence.
Savage.
That's crazy. We'll see you guys on Thursday.